was basically dominating Pacific, got to the finals of champions, and it's been a slow, seemingly decline, but at any moment you always feel like this team can come back. For G2, it has been an accelerated rise. You wouldn't think that this was a team coming in from Ascension, and now, well, they're one of the contenders.
Well, they absolutely are. G2 have looked fantastic, and even within Americas, they made the whole run all the way to the grand finals without dropping a series. This is a squad that PRX definitely can't underestimate, and well, if Mimi's right, and the matchup in style is going to be different, could give the edge over to that G2 squad. Attack side to start it out here on Icebox, and a slow push up to the A site. Spike waiting outside B. They're just taking space, contesting for some of those angles. PRX yet to react.
Well, that's the thing. The defensive side for PRX, at least on A, it's that brawly old school style. You got the Sage, you got something. They're just looking for fights. They're looking to try and battle. And this ruse has already been sold. There was only one defender, more of a retake setup for PRX, and I'll be honest with you, I think they're going to have to retake.
Yeah, there's not much of a choice here. Even the spam's not going to yield much if they were to go for them. Instead, grouping up, the blob play, just leaving something to go through the kitchen, while the rest look for the site control. Now G2 have their post plans. Nobody sent out to mid just yet, but I see Valen checking the flank, and perhaps that'll be late flank. Indeed, he's on his way. The timer starts ticking now for PRX to get on that spike and start the defuse. Back yellow fight is the main point of contention, still being held onto by Leaf, getting closer to block that defuse around the wall, and they're dropping bodies all over the place, only left to Divide, and he's quickly shut down. Valen's made it through on the flank, but the time's already gone. It's 1-0 for G2.
Yeah, it's not the greatest start either. But when you look at it from PRX, like this is a composition for G2 that you really don't want to allow them to get into those post plants. Like the whole setup is you don't have that duelist because you have tons of utility to get you in and then plenty to get you out. And obviously the idea from PRX is try and use the wall to your advantage, but you can see G2 are more than happy to re-aggress. And this is a round where they're low on utility as well. Like you're not going to have those major investments as you'll see in future rounds. It's only going to get more and more difficult for the side of PRX, the more economy advantage we see for G2. Early days though, am I going to see some investment back into a few pistols? Again, a stack up on the A site, expecting the pressure to be there, and well, I think Divine might have been spotted by the Giant.
Yeah, he popped up on the mini-map, nice and easy. Leafs even managed to find Jing, but at the cost of his life, still just a pistol lost, while they take control on the other side of the map and get the plant down. Again, we're going to see the post-plant setup, and the dangers of this round. Often you will see a bit of a danger if someone like Jing is still alive to put the wall down. Potentially, they can get a decent amount of ground on the defuse. We've certainly seen that in EMEA a couple of times.
But tank.
Yeah, Natonk. And on or under the wall, he's just as effective. But for PRX, they don't have that option. And so it's going to be a pretty difficult time trying to do anything in the way of damage. Something's made it up behind, though, and he might be able to drop a few weapons. A few nice shots with Trent down, and another to Jonah P. This is getting quite costly for G2. And something didn't look to be stopped anytime soon, but Valen steps in. Still, 2 rifles carried forward. That's decent damage for PRX.
Yeah, no, that's really not bad, especially out of so little. Him being able to do that much damage. He's a couple away from a Blade Storm, immediately going to invest straight into the Outlaw, which, again, I think if there's going to be win conditions, you're always going to look at the individuals on PRX. Like, they're a team that a lot of the time they're talking about the idea of rolling without an IGL. Like, you know that it's going to come down to those individual fights. If this man can start off strong, there's been so many highlights. Like, I think of even like I think it was the first week he played Jet on this map. He had one of the craziest like Blade Storm plays you've ever seen in your entire life. So you always have to watch out. And for G2 in this round, there is going to be a piece missing. Of course, it's the 3 rifles. If you lose one, you're only going to have those extra couple brought back up. Not going to overinvest. But they do have themselves Thrash, the only ultimate that will be available in this round, unless, as said, something gets a couple of extra kills.
Well, Harbor's using all his utility to clear out these angles. They've gained space, but towards A, poking and prodding the bear, trying to see where the aggression was coming through. They found out the hard way. The Outlaw was posted up. Mid-push from PRX. A very late flank attempt by Jonah P. Better find value because Valen's gone down through the spams. And now, PRX gearing up for a retake. Just 2 players defending around that angle. Still the Killjoy utility on, so it's not like Jonah P is going to get a free fight onto these guys unaware.
Unless they go too far.
Yeah, it might just be out of range right about now, but the problem is there's no one else left to draw their eye. It's only Jonah P. And, well, his chances of stopping this diffuse are 0.
Like, even though the utility had gone offline, when you have 5 players alive and only 1 on the other side, you start to make the realization of where that player is. For G2, okay, you would have wanted to do a little bit of extra damage, but they can hold the rifle and they're going to be able to buy into this next round. That is the thing, though. You go towards the A site, as long as something's there, which you will be in most rounds, you're going to have to challenge him. You're going to have to fight him, and I believe that was just low shields in this round for Leaf, so something that, again, they're going to have to keep in mind for future. But I don't mind what PRX are doing at the moment. Even though, as said, it's always going to be tough to play those retakes if the weaponry's online and if G2 have all their utility. They're basically just relying on, okay, can we spam someone down? Because they aren't really using much to sort of protect that player.
Well, early game plan's going to be a little bit of scouting coming in from Thrash. Gone back around to the back of Yellow, so nice and easy to retrieve that.
Look how far up they are.
Yeah, big push from PRX. They've gone through A main, starting to make that flank come through, and there could be a fight in the moment with Leaf. He's gone back to put his trap in play, and his alarm bot does cover all the angles. He's sticking around as well to try to execute. It's going to be a tough fight, though. Something and Jing hot on his tail.
And now they know. Immediately. Thrash is going to be utilized, and you can see something almost trying to bait it out, but instead it's going to be Jing caught. Can he try and defend him? No, he can't. Both players eliminated. And now the rest trying to wrap around the site. Jonah P, good position, tries to use the timing, but goes down. But again, those trades are immediate from the G2 side. The fundamentals looking strong, and Valorant looking even stronger. 3-1, immediate response. And I feel like PRX is going to have to change things up because they are allowing that plant down every round on B.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here, you're trading out the early plant for the early flank. It's not a bad trade-off just for the fact that there's a Thrash available and that they use it so quickly and get it right into the correct position. The player up close is the one caught, and the fight initiated on the one further back. And once you eliminate something in Jing, well, the round gets a whole lot easier. 3-1 for G2, a solid start. Now a big challenge, though. Round 5 sees PRX still investing, and with no shields, something's pulled out the operator. Glass cannon, it's a risk, but it just might pay off.
He could have just played Blade Storm as well, so it really does show the faith he has in that gun. But he went over to the B site early. They tried to make that adaptation. They tried to catch G2, but instead they put early pressure in onto the A site. A mid lurk as well from Jonah P, looking to try and take space, although it does seem like they have eyes in the form of the turret and in the form of a player not too far away.
Oh, I think that was through the orb. The orb was up when that spam came in and through a wall as well.
He's broken it for his teammates so that Jonah P can take the space. Like, maybe they consider that someone could have already crossed, but you can see that on the other side, Forsaken is watching mid. He's keeping an eye on it, but he has no idea that somebody's already in kitchen.
Yeah, you're expecting that cross to be the player that was further back, breaking the turret. Now Jing taking down Icy, a good start. Spike on the floor, but there's Jonah P's flank coming into fruition. Devi tries to hold the space. Spike down, and they want to keep that control. Jing's coming in to support up top. It's a big swing and one that works out, leaving Jonah P, the flanker, to do it all. Something gets a second lease of life, and with the op, that might be all he needs, but Jonah P really starting to take a bite out of this round. 20 seconds left, though. Spike quite far away, defended by Devi, and an op on the rotation. A near impossible situation.
Maybe a little bit of an overextension from Jing. There is still a chance if he can quickly find this kill, but I think it's patient from Devi. He actually gets away. Now, there is a chance for him to plant at the back of the site. It's only going to be the sprint straight away, just trying to deny him while Devi, great round from him. He's going to make sure that does not happen.
Got a little bit scary. It really did. He had the opportunities, and there was a moment where something went down, right? He's 26 HP. One more bullet landed precisely. He could have been out of the game, and then that 1v1 might have even been taken on the spike. But the round ultimately falls into the hands of PRX, 3-2. Wow. Jing was lucky to avoid that in the first place.
Yeah, I think good ultimate from Forsaken, managing to cause sort of some disruption while Jing goes to swing. And then also the fact that he escapes, because I think Jing is almost immediately traded out from that mid lurk. And that is, again, something that G2 are doing very well, is just selling false information, like breaking that turret from a player further back, a clear plan to give space.
Turret up top. Did it see him? Well, it doesn't matter. Something's got the kill anyways. It was broken from further back. A nice setup for PRX. And then they fill in the space. You know they're not likely to challenge that a second time. The push-up, though, it's going to be a little risky. Something's being surrounded on all sides. Jing's kept control over main, but they've lost the site itself. A nice kill by Mindfreak makes this a little bit more competitive. G2 down and out. Icy's the last man standing, 1v4, 5 HP on Mindfreak. That's probably the only thing we can look to as a positive. He's got some utility, that'll buy him some time. The wraparound up towards heaven. And they still think that he's pretty close. The alarm bells should be ringing, and now, well, now they've got the information on exactly where he is. Got to deal with this guy, but a double swing should put him in the ground. It's a little early for Mindfreak, but he hits the shot.
This guy is popping up in this round again. I feel like there were players getting caught out by the Reckoning, like forced out of position. The G2 players knew exactly where they were, but they're just hitting their shots. Like Mindfreak does very well to have that aggressive push initially, a fallback that still catches the player mid. And again, I don't necessarily mind the adaptation from G2. It's like, okay, they take an aggressive B control. Let's try and quickly split through mid. But it seemed like even though that control had been given up, PRX were very aware. And wow, Mindfreak just playing with absolute confidence. Don't expect anything else.
Well, yeah, at this stage especially. Something as well with the early picks. He's been up there. You can see the reality behind that operator buy, why they wanted to go for it so early on with the light shields. Good setup in the last towards B. Now an opportunity for him on the A side. Early aggression coming out. Op pushing up, covered by Jing yet again. Always has that second man behind him, but the wall's going to concede the space. They fall back, set up for another pick. Good space taking.
The guns, it has to be a faster pace take. Yeah, Jonah P's the only one that actually has a rifle. They haven't spotted him. He's got way too far, but it's only going to be the one. And now the rest, well, an immediate res to bring another back from the fray.
Now the shorty kill as well. Something farming them up. It's Icy left alone. Again, a 1v5 this time, and not one he'll find. But a little mistake from PRX. Probably good they got it out of the way in this round, but Divide moves out of range of that alarm bot, and at just the right second, someone walking past it. And Jonah P's flanks have been definitely something that's going to get in the back of PRX's head if it keeps up.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's unfortunate for the side of G2 is that's now 2 rounds that's happened. Again, maybe at some point you'll see it mentioned if there's a pause or something like that.
Yeah.
But they've not won either of the rounds.
Yeah.
Like, and that's going to be frustrating because you've had the right timing, you've had the moment to get the space, but the reactions of PRX are so fast. You get one kill and it's instant, the response each time. 4-3. Lead taken by PRX. Something, as said, if this guy's online, it's terrifying. And while Jing's going to push over the top of the poison orb.
It's a double push, yeah. They've got something as well, straight down the tube. We saw him sprinting right at the start of the round. They might be ready for the man up top, but will they wall off something? Yes, they will. Yeah. Sending it out. Ops blocked, rotations are in, and they're crossing that angle for free.
Also, Jing and something are like a package deal. So a lot of the time, if you've seen Jing, then you go, all right, there's probably an operator here. Let's be careful with it. The early rotation, though, from PRX is great. 3 players on this side of the map. Again, they haven't spotted any sort of cross back, and with Thrash about to clear out some of the closer angles, but that's irretrievable now. Can't be utilized again.
Yeah, they've got to get the kills to take the space if that's going to be a factor in the late round, and by then you won't really need it. Mindfreak tucked up close, orb goes up, blocking off that avenue. They're going to go back to the yellow push, and Viper's Pit, yeah, there it is. It's activated, so it's online for both squads. Curious to see if Jonah P's going to decide to activate his with a lockdown in play to push them out of the pit.
Mindfreak stay.
Take the space. No, he's out of here. And I think the pit's going to drop because of it.
Yeah, I don't think there shouldn't be enough time for him to get back into that, so that's actually huge. Removing that from play. There's a lockdown on the other side. This is just what I like to call an observer's nightmare. Ultimates being used all over the shop. We're going to get the third person as now they do what was done to them, but I do believe just with the corner, you might be able to hold on to this ultimate, and I feel like G2 are going to try and do that.
They are, but you could see the pings from PRX. They want to compete for that back angle. Haven't had any success. Jing, something, Forsaken, all falling. Icy's having a round, and now with the pit still standing, there's no chance. Surely, PRX likely to head for the hills. Maybe looking to stick around and make this a bit more costly and eventually delete their enemy of Icy. Pick up the operator and look to save it. Being challenged on the way, though, there's no free escape with Divide falling. The op will not be carried through to the next, and this has been a costly round for the side of PRX with G2 equalizing.
Yeah, I like the way that was played by G2. I feel like that was a game of chicken. Like, you had a couple of ultimates in play, either side using basically exactly the same thing, and just having their lockdown to remove the pit, putting it in a place where they had to fully retreat, but then being able to hold on to their own because of the space that hadn't quite been taken, and making sure that there was defense outside of the pit to make sure that nobody could really get that move. 4-4. economy, although damage not broken, and there will still be an operator for something. And we've already seen that when he's in position, when he's able to be put into play, which I think he will be here, things are much, much tougher for the opponents.
Well, G2 are wasting no time in the A main control, sending Jonah P out to the B site. No surprise, he's on the lurk. The success, he's had a lot of success, but whenever he does, like you say, Tom, the main push is always the one that fails. Jonah P does well here, lighting Mind Freak down to 46, but fails to get the kill on the jump peak, and the rotation's on its way. They're focused on the B site. Well. PRX seem to have an idea that this is where it's coming through. You see the shift from Devi. He's closer by now in Kitchen to help out.
Jing trying to keep his teammates safe from information, but the Dizzy likely going to do that. The immediate swing. Mind Freak still gets one, and now trying to play over the top of the site. Leaf picks him out of the air. It's an angle that I feel like a lot of players would miss, but not Leaf. And now the retake's looking tough.
Yeah, it absolutely is. The numbers against them, and there it is. Thrash was online, activated now. Valen tucked down below, manages to catch Devi and something off guard. And there's no need for any further aggression from this G2 side. Forsaken's out of here to try to save, but they've already got him boxed in. Like you said, Tom, Leaf right up behind him. Whoop, the timing, he might actually have seen the barrel there. Yeah, now he's got a good idea, but well, okay. That's one way to do it. The lead back in G2's hands, 5-4. Attack side really heating up.
Yeah, looking like a very competitive game at the moment. Now for, I think both of these squads, a lot of the time when they've had big success, it has been on that attacking side. So I don't think PRX is going to be too worried about this just yet, especially having that additional duelist. I am starting to think, though, how many times we've already seen that Thrash available. Like, they have been farming that up on Icy. It's been used so many times throughout this, and the impact it has just being able to clear a lot of those close angles early on. It means that the pacing of G2's takes just goes through the roof. And it's one.
Some Guardians in play, couple pistols. I expect a much more direct defensive side aggression to start this one off.
I feel like they've gone for a lot of early A control throughout this game, and it's not really been met by anything. It's a lot more passive from the side of G2, and obviously a lot of the goal is just to try and collect the orbs. I don't think they're going to be able to get the one on the B site, though, because G2 have been, again, very heavy on the B lean. A lot of the time when it's gone in the other direction, it's been lower purchases. They just have an incredibly clean B execute and post plant, and they are abusing it.
Look at how cautious G2 are being. Playing early, we saw on the A site, PRX took the control for free, like you said, and they grabbed themselves an orb. But G2 do just the same. Now pump the brakes, stand in a firing squad, a little bit of danger on the push, but it's dealt with immediately. Forsaken, able to step up for one. Second shot not going to land, and 64 HP. He's out of here with the Sheriff. Rotation off the A site leaves Jing alone, but he is tucked down below. An uncouth position. One Leaf has to be cautious of, but he was watching it as the peak comes in. Now Jing tagged low. At least get himself a little bit of a heal and drop Leaf. Okay. This is not...
I don't think the heal played any part in that.
No, not at all. Got him back to 76 in the end, but they're set up in a decent position.
Yeah, both Hunter's Furies online now as well. Forsaken got it from getting that extra kill. If he can be disruptive here, that would be nice. The spot comes in from something. Dizzy not going to play a part, and now there goes that Hunter's Fury from the flank. It's not really going to do too much, but the time is an issue. 15 seconds now for the side of G2 to try and make their way in towards the site. Up above, it seemed like Jing may not have been paying attention, didn't hear the sounds, and even though it comes super late in the round, they're going to get that plant.
This is not a comfortable anti-eco, but they've managed to make it work. 3 versus 1. Forsaken known to be behind. He threw out a dart a moment ago. Had his Hunter's Fury. Nice shot to start it, but
Scar wheel
jumped a little too soon. 6-4 now. G2. 2-round lead. Chance to extend it even more before the half is over.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to want to do that. We've seen them, like, not too long ago still have some struggles on this map, but it was normally the attack side when they played versus Lev that looked decent. So I think they're going to want to try and extend that to an 8-4 lead. And as I said, like, PRX on the attack, you've always got to be careful. But it has seemed that over the last few rounds, a lot of the early success they were having, the something Jing show of those aggressive pushes, I think G2 have done well to adapt, take a lot of early map control. You can even see it now, throwing early flashes. They want to try and make sure that there's no angle that something could just be sat on with an operator. And well, for now, he's back on the rifle. And again, it seems like every time we have the early aggression from PRX. They're a little bit unlucky because they're always on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, they've pushed up on B this time, ready for any aggression out of G2, but players are going to be spotted outside of A. Maybe just the one scene, though. It's not a ton of information to work with. They're conscious of the flank that's been coming through relatively consistently. The push up now on B. Well, the wall actually slows them down. That utility from Valorant has bought them a few valuable seconds. It's got the rotations off of A as well. A is wide open, barring a little bit of Killjoy utility. And now that they think there could be a play towards the B site, Divide toyed with the idea of pushing mid. Luckily he didn't, because Jonah P was waiting as always.
But also it would have taken as a alarm bot down if we went too far. So at least they'll get that extra little piece of information. Now have the players in at the right time. Something though, again, it seemed like he was caught off guard, maybe waiting for a slightly later push off the back of the Reckoning instead. Another easy post plant. And Jonah P's just waiting, watching, knows that right now the flank is clear, even has support from Trent. It's going to be a very one-dimensional retake from PRX.
He's heard the steps, but he knows that turret's still online. That's going to be a problem. Has to break it and give it away, but in comes the Hunter's Fury, taking down Forsaken. Divide falls too. They eventually deal with the flank they knew was coming, but there's still so many more to drop. There's Jing on the Icy. A chance now. Life breathed back into the side of PRX, but look, right down below, a sneaky spot from Leaf that gets his third of the round. That may well be the final nail in the coffin of this. With Jing left alive, time ticking away, and he just has to save that weapon, run for the hills, and concede a 7th to G2. A strong lead for the attacking side, and it isn't over yet.
Yeah, and also even just the casualties are meaningless. There's so much economy left for G2 that they can toy with their opponents in the late round. But no, it has just been, I feel like there's been some stellar positioning from the side of G2 when it's needed most. Like we spoke about those lurks, but Leaf here just playing a patient game. Something that, to be honest, he was C, so they knew that he was around there, but I guess assuming that he'd fallen back for the late round post plan.
Yeah.
And now, well, with the extra kills he got in that round, one away from a lockdown, something I'm sure they're going to want to try and get online. In fact, already challenging early for the orb, but I was going to say it's gone all right until the extra swing in. Valen again.
Doesn't need the orb either, does he? Leaf's got his ult online from that pick. Yeah, that looked really good. The staggering utility from G2 pushed PRX back. They decided to stick around in the choke point, which is often a mistake, but they won the fight despite the util being thrown their way. But now the fact that Leaf got that pick, has the ultimate to work with, it's going to buy so much time. And then you've got to root these players out of position. Trent still has a shock dart to work with. I believe there's a nano on the spike alongside an alarm bot. This is going to be a very difficult round, as it has been for PRX in all of these retakes. This one feels that little bit more stacked against them. Shock dart, the one to find the kill, and Device looking the wrong way into heavy traffic. 8-4. This has been a stellar first half from G2, and PRX better hope their attack can make up the gap.
Yeah, no, I think there was a bit in the middle where we had some sort of good disruptive play coming out of the likes of PRX, but G2 the last few rounds just stabilized, slowed things down, had these really good takes, so I think it's going to be a tough second half. We'll see if PRX can turn it after the break. It's enjoyable to watch, but ultimately you're not going to want to lose your own map choice at the beginning of the day. And I think they're going to have a very strong attack side. Now, they normally do. As I said, when they win this map, you're looking at, as I said, I think 10-2 attack halves as the likes of DFM, even DRX, the prior time to last. And a lot of this comes off the back, well, the two players we've just witnessed, Jing and Forsaken. Jing and Something. A terrifying duo on the entry. But just look at already the aggressive stance that has been taken by G2 in mid.
Yeah, they're looking for the triple push off the back of the contact from Trent. And they're even hearing some of the steps that went around towards A main. Some information there. We'll see how quickly they get on that flank. The retake setup, though, certainly in play. You can see Leaf is just backing off, conceding this space. And in fact, the flank abandoned after breaking the turret. Now look to play this as a more conventional retake. Wall buys a little bit of time, and the plant should be in. Shock dart, though, for damage.
They have so much plant denial a lot of the time on the side of G2, but now it's going to be utilized for the retake. One man still hidden in the corner, and he strikes. Mind Freak with a couple. Jing steps up with another, and in fact, he gets two himself. but it's left onto Trent. You wouldn't want anyone else in a clutch, and although he's low, he's almost taken him down. The shock dart may even kill off Jing, but it doesn't matter. It will be a last-second shot that ends up giving PRX a much-needed pistol round.
Well, that came very close. Travel time of that arrow, all that made the difference. But it's enough. PRX take the pistol, and this is a much-needed win. An injection of rounds early on, at least if they can manage to convert in the follow-up that they needed to close the gap after that first half. 5 rounds in a row before this for G2. Finally, we see a stall out to that momentum.
Yeah, I think important that they get that job done for this one. Get themselves back into the map, and it looks like the defensive side are almost trying to sell confusion here. They've got the Viper screen combining with the Harbor Wall. The thing is, it seems like PRX, similarly to the last round, are just happy to play around their opponent's utility, like almost use it to their advantage. It's whether or not they can abuse the gaps more than their opponents can.
I mean, they've taken a big gamble. The turret is watching the back, but they're committing 5 players after making all this noise. The stack up is there from G2, but it doesn't seem to matter. They're being shredded on the site. With one man behind that wall, soon to fall, it's Icy down and Leaf to do it all. Let's see if he can find a 1v5 with a classic. No, what a surprise. 3 kills from something. Big round for him, farming up some orbs, and a solid one without a single player falling for PRX.
Yeah, and the thing is, they invested in with 4 rifles, so normally you're expecting, okay, maybe you can afford to lose a couple of players. In that case, they couldn't, but they kept it so ridiculously clean. Didn't really struggle at all. Orbs kind of spread across the board, which obviously it's nice in the future, but right now will be a little bit more frustrating. But then they brought back up with an Outlaw as well. Like, we see this quite often, having that lurking player just being able to hold down mid, watch anybody who's trying to push on the A site. For now, though, it's an important round for G2, because they lose this bonus, and it's a strong bonus. They're right back in the game. He's just full sprint. He's just okay, this W gaming. How could I forget?
Yeah, well, in case you needed a reminder, there it is. Man's lost his shift key. We'll see if he finds it soon. Running back down the tube. He's been hurt. Leaf has a vague idea. But look at the commitment from G2 to re-clearing out in kitchen. Player right down below him. And, well, I mean, something is just playing an unhinged style here. He gets shot in the back, but it's just a tickle. And that actually spurs him forward to look for another fight. Jonah P. They're all around B while the A side's taken.
They're so focused on him. They're so focused looking at him that in the meantime, they've just walked into the site and planted the spike. Like, you can't blame them. When a guy is running around like a lunatic, you go, okay, I should keep an eye on him. And you need to still keep an eye on him. There was a pixel there that maybe he could find something. Even spotting players around mid. They should know that he's still here. But it seems like they're just relying on this wall, the turret. Is he going to get past it? He is. He's past the turret. And now just going in behind them. Only the one so far, but they have to deal with this man. The whole round has been about dealing with something.
They haven't even seen anyone else. Getting towards the spike, sure, but the guy's still behind them, spraying away. Now the fight up in front. Okay, something falls, so too does Divide, but Spike not even half just yet. The sprays are good. Mindfreak gets another and a triple to close it out. All eyes were on something, but it's Mindfreak that pulls off the magic.
Yeah, a Red Bull clutch that was high impact for sure. But it's just, again, one of those rounds that you're going to look back on and go, well, they didn't forget about him, but it was like you forgot who he was, like what he was going to be doing. There was so many moments in that round where you just think, even though something, he doesn't get like the triple kill, he doesn't get the multi-frag, there was so little time left that it almost just became panic station for the rest of the team because they're so focused on killing one guy. And of course you are, it's the solo jet running down mid. Well, you're not going to expect him to be alone.
I haven't seen someone play like that in a long time outside of rank. Hello, early fight. Valent's not going to get anything, but Divide goes down. Early flank underway. Turret's much more passive, so Leaf will get pretty close. Not close enough to actually take anyone down. He could. Oh, of course. Divide's the one that fell right away. So yeah, he's able to make it all the way up, making it into heaven, grabbing himself a weapon, and now a serious danger down below. He's got something. The res is right above. It's free for Leaf. 4 already. A phenomenal round, and he's looking for more. Mindfreak has to do it again. This time a 4K against pistols, but he's 30 HP.
Oh, we're talk about forgetting about something. I think they forgot the turret was down. He got so much space. Mind Freak might get an isolated 1v1, but now the Sheriffs, well, we normally talk about hitting a headshot. They definitely don't need that. Body shot will do the job. He's trying to sell the idea that he's pushing into the A site, but that idea has not been sold whatsoever. And while Jonah P's going to hit the headshot anyway, the MasterCard Thrifty will be what brings a round onto the board for G2. And well, it's a massive oversight for PRX.
Oh, huge. The fact that Devi's first to die is unfortunate, like you said, dropping the turret, his position, given a free weapon down below. The fact that the res goes in up top, just as something dies, they panic to try and cover Devi so he doesn't die a second time, and that ends up giving a flurry of frags over the Leaf. Now 15 and 11. And one away from a lockdown. G2 have a lot of high-value ultimates coming online. Same can be said for PRX here on the attack, though. This is where everything's going to be decided, 9-7. The gap either going to close or be extended massively by G2 here. Credits down to the last for PRX.
Yeah, it's done a lot of damage. The only thing that's going to pad the gap is the Viper's pit. By having a stinger in a pit, absolutely fine. But they need to get into the afterplan. Look how quick G2 are already moving around that flank. They're in the spawn already. But by the time they get there, the post plant will be set. This time, turret should be available to give them the information. In fact, Forsaken is already watching, but he has Hunter's Fury. Oh, it's actually got past him, but the flash checks him anyway.
Reckoning going to clear a lot of space here as well. Give away that information. They know exactly where something is. He's stunned up, gunned up. Leaf able for one. Keeping it competitive. G2, 3 versus 2. Having to fight through the pit, though, could be the advantage they need. In goes the Thrash, and Mind Freak can't quite dodge it. They know exactly where he is. The pressure is on Jing. He has to cover this man to keep the pit online, to keep the chances there for PRX, and he'll get nothing. Bar the one. G2 now double digits on the board. Pit invested for PRX, and credits are going to be, well, out of reach for a full buy.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be an ideal scenario. Don't think that's quite... Not sure it works like that.
That's how the finisher goes, but...
Oh yeah, no, beautiful retake, but also the read initially. Like, the flank came through so fast that, although I was a little bit worried, this is the thing that's great about G2 is they're so methodical. They put the Reckoning through and I go, okay, there's a gap. And that gap is where Forsaken is. Flash, just around the corner, just to make sure. It's so clean with making sure that there isn't those gaps left. And while put them into a great position. Still though, Bladestorm, something, mentioned it in the first half. We know what this guy can do with it. Already going to take a lot of early space. They also have the Hunter's Fury as well, so if this can get into the late round, it could get dangerous, but that lockdown's available for the other side.
PRX are so fast. Usually that drone will slow you down a bit, but they just sprint straight at it, taking control over the site, and that gets the lockdown into play. Shock darts to harass the planter, and they're back out of there. Flank was attempted for a moment. G2, though, seemed to have fallen back. Maybe assuming that the lockdown's going to send them in the other direction, but they might not know PRX. This is a team that isn't keen to give up on the A game. Still looking for, well, the A side.
Yeah, now that flank starts to adjust again. Clearing in middle, getting all the information. The plant is going to be enabled, and something is desperately looking for someone to give him a fight, because the weaponry's such a huge disadvantage for the rest of the team. Devi at least has a gun, but everything else is going to be those stingers. He just wants to try and get something out of it revealed, but does have support.
Well, that flash sends all the support backwards. Jing's caught, still blinded up. Hunter's Fury goes through, though. Forsaken able to trade out onto Icy. That gets the push out of Devi. Back and forth the kills go, but it's still G2 with the advantage. If they catch Mind Freak for free, it could be something, but he's fragging out, gliding Leaf down. The defuse already halfway. He's sticking it all the way, and Forsaken had to fight. Fallon on a sliver of health gets it across the line with plenty of time left. It's 11-7. The lead for G2 cemented, and they're in the home stretch now.
He's never going to get to use it. He's trying so hard to do the finisher, but never quite gets it done. Always so low on the time, but this must have been just the biggest jump scare ever. 20 HP. It wasn't far away for Forsaken. Well, Alex, and he needs to breathe, needs to get the frustration out, because he's about to talk to the boys. That's what he always says. He's like, I get the frustration out, then I talk to them in a calm manner. Well, they've lost 3 rounds in a row. They're 2 away from losing.
Viper's pit, but a Hunter's Fury as well, and those ults have been finding impact.
Yeah, as said, I think most of, if not all their ultimates have been super high impact whenever they've put them into play. And what, immediately, I'm going to see that Viper's Pit. Try and funnel them in a different direction. Drone yet to be put into play for Forsaken. It also has the dart, so they could opt to try and fight him, but there's always a massive gamble, especially with the position that Jonah P is playing.
I also love the super deep alarm bot that they put in. The shock darts went through to try and deny that utility, assuming that you would be playing that little bit more passive, that it'd be around the choke point, but instead it's further up, just covering Jonah P's left side, if you think about it that way, and he can cover the right. A really nice setup. It's going to leave him in a very favorable fight either way, and if someone touches the alarm bot, Nano goes up, and Jonah can just fall back a little bit and play more passive.
Feels like they're doing exactly what G2 want them to do.
Yeah.
Like they're fighting for mid control just to make sure they can't split back towards the B site. You got the Hunter's Fury for an attempted plant denial or to even clear something out on the retake. PRX are doing what they want, but it's whether or not, as always, this team can make it work anyway. It's going to be something looking for those aggressive fights, but I feel like G2 haven't given any of them away. They've been so good at making sure that doesn't happen, and already there's the man advantage.
Almost extended on. That shot just swinging
Flank
through
as
players,
well.
but with Mind Freak down, yeah. Flank is now wide open. PRX don't have any ground to fall back to. They have to fight forward. That's exactly what they're going to try to do. Something in Forsaken, the sprays just avoided. Then G2 go on the push. Forsaken good for one, but Devi's fallen. The trades are there. Forsaken keeping it alive on the site, but he can't do much from that corner. And the spray, close as it was to a collat, it won't get it done. 12 rounds on the board for G2. 5 chances to close this one out. Lotus up next, and Bind if they need to go all the way. That's a really good safety net for them.
Yeah, but again, you're going into your map choice, and with the preparation that's clearly there for G2. As said, this round, it looks like they orchestrated it. It literally looked like they handed them a script and said, this is what you're going to do, and PRX went, yeah, all right.
But he even fired a shock dart for default, immediately popped the ult, and then fired it through so it covers as they run away from the shock. So no matter what, you're taking the damage.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
And that was all really the goal was. Get an opener, play the retake. They've had such stellar retakes and post plants. 3 retakes in a row now for G2, and they haven't, other than the one with the classic, they haven't had too many problems. There we go, though. The battle for B. I think the expectation was after the A hits, it's going to eventually fall back in this direction. Valen is in a great spot, if not cleared. He's not been cleared. It's a bit of a mistake, and now he gets to just pounce on the remaining players. Even still, PRX are keeping this one close, and the res actually puts it in their favor.
Yeah, I like the Valen's just falling back, giving up that space. He'll use his wall to hopefully slow them down. Time won't be bought for the flank, with Leaf still alive. Devi's still alive, pardon. You got the turret up. Leaf wants to flank, but he'll be giving away that information soon. Lockdown in play, gets them the space on the site. Advantage there, damage done to Valen. This seems to certainly be a favored round for PRX, perhaps the start of the comeback. Shock dart's good for some damage. A few of these players now lit up.
Ooh, okay, 1 for Leaf, but again, no chance with the trade. Jin gonna heal himself back up, and leaves just a couple standing. Valen trying to bait them in, but they've put him into a tunnel, and it is a solid round. Forsaken with 3, and PRX, well, they need 4 more.
4 in a row. It's doable. We saw G2 close out the half in just the same fashion. They can hit their stride. But for G2, the other thing is, you take a look at those credits. They're starting to run a little dry. This squad does have Reckoning to work with. No other ultimates close to being online. It looks like a light buy based around the Outlaw. Big fan of this kind of setup. Question is where it's going to be used. And for Leaf, it seems to be a middle peak. He'll have his turret covering it, and they are moving towards him. We'll see if that Outlaw can have the impact. We hear the shots fire, but they don't find their mark.
Nope, not going to be anything. And it's the same again. Okay, nice shot. Someone's been doing their aim training, that's for sure. And even the trade's not looking good. Oh, not like this. This would be the worst way to let a map slip away. In fact, it's even...
What? It's a misclick.
Is he just fat-fingered?
He's misclicked it. He meant to drone.
Oh, that's just...
Oh,
it's gone horrifically. But Mind Freak just comes out with 3 in a second. This round was looking like it was falling apart, but maybe in the most uncharacteristic way, they might take it anyway. Flank coming in. That's the major danger. And now it's left all onto Jing. It's not been a great round. And now he's under real pressure. The spike gonna take some serious damage. And he's, well, I think he's just got lost in the source. Leaf is going to be there to close out the round. Around the PRX are definitely going to want to forget.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a hard one to forget, though. At least on the first map. We'll see if that changes as we're about to get into Lotus. G2's map pick, and they'll start this one out on the defense.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into this one. I think, especially for PRX, after having that map sort of slip away from them, starting on the attack is going to be good. Like, having the ability to set the pace, and that pace is going to be high tempo. For now, though, it's more of a spot. Jonah P's just looking for information, but he's taken the head clean off. Divide, not the man I expected to be going first, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, last map, we saw him go first, and it was a disastrous round with Leaf finding a 4K. The A site taken by PRX, so at least they'll trade out the life of a man for the site control. Losing out on that Fade utility hasn't stopped them putting boots on the ground. But the retake from G2, quite quick. Paranoia is absolutely perfect. Something still gets away with one, and the nade is slowing them down. Nice disruption from PRX to start this off.
Jonah P! He's just taken over! 3 headshots already, that Sheriff in his hand. It's looking like it has aim lock, looking for a little bit more, but the trade backs are still good. It might be all on Jonah P, a fourth in the round, and finally he's put down. But Leaf is there to pick up the pieces. What a pistol round. Now I know what the P stands for.
Precision. 1-0 for G2, and my goodness, yeah, we talked about Leaf, we talked about Jonah P, more so in their ability to get behind you and find those free kills when you ain't looking, but it seems Jonah P's stepped it up a little bit. Look at this. Gorgeous first shot, and then these follow-ups are absolutely clinical. Even grabbing another to make it doable for Leaf in the end. Might have come close, down to 7 HP.
Good round,
but it's not close enough.
It's literally only because Leaf has shields. That's the difference maker. It's unfortunate because, yeah, a hero that saves them, because PRX actually did very well, and they force. They're going straight into the B site. They have got guns to play with, looking for those SMGs, and well, already speak about the pistols, but the trade from Trent gives them the advantage, and he backs away.
He's doubled up, still has a Prowler to work with. Icy needs to keep control over Heaven. He's under pressure. Something already up close. They know that he's there, and the swing in from Leaf closes this one out. A double on the Stinger to put 2-0 on the board. Weapons upgraded as well. Same thing as last map. It's a decent follow-up round from PRX, but they force spot. That's the real problem. Like, round 2, that kind of damage, usually great, but now you haven't got the credits to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it means that likely into the next round they'll come in with a 4-buy with everything they could ever need. Like, there won't be maybe light shields or something like you might normally see, but it also gives another round for economy to be built up. So you can see a slightly better buy than what they had in the last round for G2. I guess there's also just the thought process of, it is PRX. Maybe they do it again.
Oh.
Well, one of the only investments other than pistols is that Marshall.
They've still gone for the Sheriffs, though. You know, even though things haven't been going their way, PRX are not going to lose their mojo. Still coming in, an opening pick towards the A site. Weapon on the floor. I actually think that was a Phantom, too, because there was a lot more upgrades than you might have thought in the last couple seconds before the barriers went up. Trent does well to manage the numbers of PRX. The Prowlers cleared out a lot of close space. They'll get back towards the stairs, but they're conscious that someone could already be close.
Yeah, he's kind of good with the Bulldog, you know? He's kind of good with it. Valorant.
All 3.
It's not going to overface. Not really any need to. Icy already reclaiming a little bit of ground. Something does have the gun, but he's desperately low on health.
You're dead.
Actually, it's Divide to go down behind him. That is...
Sees nade.
Here.
Yeah, a troublesome position now. Something needing... Oh, maybe one of the craziest plays with how low he is. Having the rifle's not even that much of a hit, because a single bullet will leave him down in the dirt. And while Mindfreak's done well, that's at least a first.
Still hinging on something, and especially with Mindfreak going down. Once he finds the first, that's where things should stop. They haven't cleared him just yet, but, well, now he's been seen. Taken down, and the upgrade's just fine for G2. 3 players surviving. Phantom to be taken through to the next round. Some Bulldogs as well, at Bulldog, at Guardian. Perfect stuff. 3-0 solid start for the defensive side. PRX, they've certainly shown that they're willing to brawl and able, and that may stand to them in the next round, but not just here.
Yeah, the problem is, although they've kept the economy relatively honest, you're still going to have 5 rifles. You're still going to have enough to probably invest into the next round anyway. And you got a 3-0 start. So it really does just put them on the back foot almost immediately. I think if PRX don't find a response here, this could very quickly get out of control.
Oh yeah, it could spiral. Trent, well, I liked his Bulldog. Let's see how much I like his Odin. Sat inside of tree, spam already, gonna light up Jing a little bit and slow down the rest of the squad and clearing out that space. Slowing down PRX is something not a lot of players can do. He's just getting all the walls lit up, turning them into Swiss cheese, but PRX have waited out the spams.
And in fact, they're going to fall back off it. Maybe just wanting to set up Mind Freak, but no. It's in fact just a ruse. No aggression on the other side. They've also baited out that they could have taken some tree control, and they are just going to full sprint their way towards the other side of the map. Now, it has been spotted. The deep turret gives Leaf the information, and they do have Nightfall to play with, so that's the other thing. It's possible that they're just going to look to play this as a retake, but instead, especially after the utility goes down, just going to fall back. I say that, still within the site, who hasn't been spotted again. It's Danger Man, Jonah P.
Yeah, sat in the smoke, waiting for it to fade. It's going to be a duel between himself and Jing, and it's Jonah P to win it, and double up! Devi's gone too! That should have been the trade. And instead, Forsaken as an impossible task. 4 players coming his way, and Nade used alongside a reveal. They know roughly where he is, and now the rest of the util comes in. The C's saved until they had the information. That's an absolutely gorgeous play. And a solid economy farming round for G2. 4-0 up, 4 players alive. Those credits are going to be sky high.
Yeah, PRX got more done with the low buy. It really was. And again, you said it, the way that they saved a lot of their utility, like what they did there was put the snake bite on the left, so if he does manage to dodge the C's, he's getting vulnerable and then the player swings, or he gets hit by the C's and he has basically, I think it was 30 HP to try and fight versus the entirety of the team. They're so good at just putting their utility off guard, which was the whole idea when we talk about PRX potentially winning this one, is can you beat them with the pacing? And as Mimi said on the desk, she thinks it's a great matchup for G2. Right now it is looking that way. There needs to be some sort of response, and while with how many rounds they've lost in a row, the loss bonus is there. Bladestorm available for something. Let's hope this is the start of something.
Is that Trent opening the door? He's trying to spot how many players are outside. And now he hears the steps up close, so a little bit late. But that could have been something. Still something to be afraid of on the side of PRX. You can see them taking their time and closing the distance. They've heard the reload. They know there's another wave of spams about to go, and they think they've bypassed it, but there's still someone covering it on the walk through. They've seen that one man of something has already crossed. Nightfall to be used, but something's around the back. He's gotten closer than expected. Icy covering it from up top, though. Now they maintain their control, slow the push from PRX, send them in the other direction, but Jonah P waiting as usual on a sliver of HP, and he triples up. Devi, the last man standing. Another unbelievable round from G2. They barely break a sweat unless Devi can turn up the heat, and he doesn't know that there's a player sneaking right around behind him.
They've got the spike as well. It was irrelevant whether or not he managed to win the battle over on the A site with the spike being down on B, but yeah, Jonah P today, it's just having one hell of a performance. We saw, like, he was pretty good in the last map, but this has been ridiculous. Like, being able to re-isolate each one of those jewels, it's just solid positioning. Dodges the initial utility, re-peeks back into the second player, and then just tries to catch a time. Like, he knows if he just allows him to swing, he's definitely dead.
Yep.
But that's got, it's got to be infuriating.
It's even the fact that he pulls back around the corner for a second. These players hit by Nightfall, running the other direction. They're thinking he's going to jump on the box. He's low HP. No, he just wide swings them again and again. Gorgeous play. And 5-0 for a reason. G2 are looking unbelievable. PRX struggling to get even a round on the board just yet. A rifle for something and pistols to back them up. This is the kind of round where they have so far done the most damage. We'll see if that carries through and converts to a round win.
I think the Nightfall overdrive, it's a pretty nasty combo.
Yep.
But then again, look at the position that Trent is playing in. Like, just consider that right now. He is literally just playing full retake. They've got the Viper's Pit down on one side. They know that in these moments, there you go. They've expected the Nightfall. As said, sometimes it really does look like PRX are just reading from the hymn sheet of the opponent because they've used their ult. It's not really gained anything, and G2 are very happy to play the retake.
Yep. They were ready for this from the get-go. One flank position from Forsaken, though, that could catch them off guard. Look at that. He's got a nasty angle. He hears the steps, and Jonah P, a taste of his own medicine. Dropped from behind. A rifle to be recovered. PRX with a stance to fight from. Jing's caught off. The finger gun's not doing the damage. They'll concede the space, let them down the stairs, and fight them on the site. But Leaf wins that one too. Now looking for control over Tree. They'll find it for free. It's Maine. They've got a fight, and the swing is good with Leaf getting his third of the round. It's another successful defensive side already guaranteed to be equal at the half, and I don't think G2 are going to slow down.
It's just how confident they're playing. As said, like to just completely give up the site to PRX, have that much faith in your ability to retake, but you kind of understand why. Like, look, well, 4 of the 6 rounds they have on the board are off the back of retakes. Maybe some less so than others in how the rounds were actually played out, but it wasn't even that close in the end with how much time they actually allowed them to set up. I think, what, like 2.5 seconds still remaining. They are looking super comfortable. Again, we're going to see an investment, but using that Nightfall in the last round to very little effect. It was more the lack of information that gave them that sight. Operator in for something is an attempt at a change.
Yeah, the thing is, though, that it's not like there's been big peaks coming out of G2. They're very happy to sit back and let PRX push into them. Lockdown in play. Jonah P. Again, the positioning was perfect, but he positioned himself right in front of Devi's spray.
Again, good isolation of the jaw, but at least PRX have managed to keep this one even. One of the better opportunities they've had. Now, it's going to split the defense quite a bit more. Showstopper is available for Icy. So again, if they wanted to, they could lean further into these retakes, but you can see Valorant is just going to be jump spotting. Now, all he's looking for is information, which he should get now, and there you go. And I think that may, I'll have to wait and see, eventually switch the position of where Trent's playing.
If Leaf swings this and they get the kill, they will run back in the other direction. In fact, they're going to do it anyways. Something. Now moving through to re-clear this space. He hasn't gotten the peak he wanted. The patience of G2 is commendable, to say the least. This swing, yes, it works out. Icy's down, but the trade attempt is there. Down to the shorty, closing the distance. Something playing a crazy game, upgraded to the rifle, downgraded perhaps, and Leaf doubles it up, keeps it doable for their side. And Trent, oh, Mindfreak knows he's up close, but now the info goes both ways. The spray comes close. Mindfreak on the adjustment for the double. The first round for PRX at long last.
Yeah, I think, again, a lot of it comes down to just being able to get into that site and find the opener. Something does well with the operator and then just playing off of that late round. And again, even just the trade out through the smoke was pretty big because we've seen such high impact rounds from Jonah P. This will get them onto the board. It's just whether or not they can now try to extend things. Luckily, they do save that operator. So that's still going to be in play for this next round. And they have themselves the null command, which will have value in reducing Leaf setup. Instead, though, the defense have got aggressive on both sides of the map.
Usually you talk about the push and the pull, but this was just the push. PRX found themselves the pick. It's being traded out on the other side. C-site left for a retake. Nano's broken already, one activated. We'll slow them down, section them off, but, well, actually, I love this. I adore this. A little bit of damage done. Jing and Forsaken now decently low, but the plant will come through. PRX have some ground to fight from.
Trent's trying to sell the ruse.
Oh, here we
Nade
go.
one side. He's been denied. Well, denied the ult. Maybe not denied the kills. Icy still going strong. Sees to the backside. We'll let them know that there's at least was no one there. And the rest of the team just looking to push together. It's all going to be on to one. And while Devi, try as he might, won't manage to get anything.
Yeah, they might have hit him with the knife, but he stopped the show himself. Gorgeous stuff from Icy. Really impressed by him in this series so far, and by G2 in general. We expect this to be a close one on a surface level. There was always the chance of a mismatch of styles or of PRX. Look, like you pointed out earlier, Tom, on a downward trajectory in terms of international events. Last time they were at a Champs, Grand Finals, top 2.
Yeah.
Now, they're being challenged in the first round. It's not a good look, but it's a fantastic look for G2. Coming from the challengers section of Valorant, the heights they've reached already, unbelievable. They may just be about to 2-0 PRX, certainly if it keeps going this way.
Even a bit back before they made it into the VCT, there was conversations about could this team just beat them anyway.
Yeah.
I think that was answered fairly quick. PRX again down to a shoddy by 3 pistols, a couple of Guardians. We haven't quite seen those same hero plays that we've wanted to, at least. There was 1 or 2 on the previous map, but I guess Mindfreak's double is about the best we've had so far. He did get them their first round. Now an attempt to just walk through. Well, that's going to be revealed. Solid utility. Maybe not the gun for it, or maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I take it back. Somehow Gents made that work. Well, he's finally put down. Too little, too late.
Well, you say that. Maybe don't count the Vi out just yet. 45 seconds. He's got himself a rifle now. His HP quite low. The chance for a big play. PRX needs something. I think they'll take any chance they can get. But look at G2. We talk about the discipline. Good attempt by Divide. Baits out the first fight.
Yeah.
Knows there'll be a swing back sight because they've played enough rounds against G2. This isn't a squad that's going to send individual after individual to fight you. They group up, they play it together, and their reward is an 8-1 lead. But this man felt my heart skip a beat.
It's the moment of realization. I think he sees the little bit of like smoke from the dash and goes, wait, what? Oh! Still manages to get the kill. Had a little bit of support from his friends. 8-1. Whether you were a G2 or PRX fan, I don't think you expected it to be this dominant. They have looked incredibly strong. As said, on the first map, PRX were in it at a point, and then the adaptations came in. At this point, it seems like G2 have been ready from the get-go.
And G2 are adapting again. Aggressive push-up on B. They hear that A main control, and they realize it's just going to be the same old playbook. They're taking control, taking tree, and fighting sight. And that early flank is catching them off. No one's ready for it. Look at Mindfreak. He's staring forward. Jing's just about spotted them. And he will manage to at least do damage, making it doable for Mindfreak, who's grabbed the double. But again, the trades keep swinging in the other direction.
So good.
Thanks to players like Jonah P. I don't understand how he does it again and again. Divine now has it all to do. He's got the right gun for the job. Gonna try to brrr them out of this one, but it's gonna be difficult. Nice lineup. Good spam, but they're going right back. They're playing the same game. Diffuse already past half, and it's too far gone. The spray might be good for 1.
He jumped across and killed him.
But 1's all they get. 9-1 on the board, Tom. This is a devastating start to map 2. And well, G2's map pick for a reason, I suppose.
Yeah, even still, like it's been a solid map for PRX. They're just getting shut down. As I said, last time they played Jing, I think it was 28-14. He's 2-10. Like, he's not been in the game at all. I don't remember saying his name once. Like, it really, and that never happens. That never happens. He's one of the best individually skilled.
Number 2, I mean, they're playing a damn clean game. I'm getting worried. I'm starting to sweat a little bit, and I don't think it's just the temperature here. G2.
Well, I'll also say, I feel like there's even an argument if they are the number 2 because of how close.
Their final, right?
Yeah.
It was OTs and everything.
13-15, 14-16, then they won 13-9 and lost it.
Yep.
This team is
number 2 on a
there.
technicality.
Yeah, and after their performance at the last international,
yep,
even less so. They have looked incredibly good.
But this is just every single round, man. It's just clean.
Oh.
The ideas, the executions. Nobody is greedy on this squad. Everyone's just playing it for the numbers to win the game, and that's all you can ask for.
Valen starts it off. Will be a trade, but he's taken a lot of damage. A more direct approach this time from PRX, but I'm going to sound like a broken record. These retakes have been stellar. Something's trying to get ahead of it. I really don't mind him pushing up, trying to fight more aggressively. They haven't been able to hold, but again, an impactful double. from Jonah P. He's left to fight this alone. Offhand. Oh, it's a bit of a wide swing, but they'll peek it together. Forsaken puts the second round onto the board with 3 kills. At least something. Maybe they can start looking at curses.
Now, we're going to definitely hope that the 9-3 exists still, that curse. Well, it used to be a big thing, and PRX going to have to perform a ritual to bring it back. I'll need to find this round at least, and Tom,
maybe
so
Paper
far,
Thing can do it. I've heard he's pretty good at rituals. I've seen him with the PRX jersey. He's not in the building, so he'll have to. I don't know. It means he can go out in the street and do it. In fact, that's what I want to see.
You want to see Paper Thin in the street doing a ritual?
Yes, that's what it is.
All right, we'll see if we can arrange that.
That's the content I desire.
All right, well, I think you might be the only one.
No way
he's going straight through it. There's no way. Jonah P's positioning has been unbelievable. Trent, I love you, man.
Okay, he got caught.
Gorgeous play. Yes, he did, but look at the position of Leaf at this point.
No, he's going to get revealed.
Okay, he's revealed. He's revealed. He has to break it. Now they know. Now the flash goes through.
Good
Gorgeous.
flash.
Okay, there's the reaction from PRX and the follow-up from Forsaken and Defy. Now they're hitting their stride.
All right,
it might be a little late in the half, but they've got the foundations laid. A pistol could bridge the gap, but they're going to need it.
Yeah, we finally saw some life in the squad, like reading what was going to be done by Jonah P. I think that's the first time that he's actually been caught. And then also Forsaken. Last couple of rounds really stepping up to the plate. It's a mountain to climb, but luckily there's a second half after the break.
Home stretch for G2, and we saw it. It was just too far out of reach on Icebox for PRX to come back into. G2 didn't slow down. Barrier's about to go up. The challenge, not to lose 4 players to Jonah P's headshots.
You know what, he doesn't have a sheriff this time, so I'm not a believer. Already though. Well, yeah, see, it's not a sheriff. Not quite as controlled, aggressive from the defensive side. They've met them outside B, and well, just about going to be the retreat. Keeps things even, but neither team is shying away from this. They want to fight. And well, maybe I was wrong. Jonah P with a double. It's not going to be 4, you know, not possible. But it's still pretty good. Last man standing something. Well, I believed in the post plants of G2 throughout the entirety of these series. And I don't think I'm going to start to not believe now.
No, I don't really care what the number is for Jonah P. He needs a raise. He's putting in the goddamn work at this point. Trent with a Bulldog, Trent with an Odin, didn't matter. I'm becoming a fan of this team very quickly.
Are you just trying to get the whole team a raise? Is that the goal?
At this point, Tom, you disagree? It's been unbelievable, and although something grabs 1, that is all she wrote.
The G2 manager's going, shut up, shut up.
10-3, double digits found in the first round of the second half. G2 certainly seemed to be in the home stretch. We saw a force buy from PRX on their attack. It didn't work. I'm not sure that we'll see it here, but
if they do it on defense, then I think we can almost just GG the game. Like, you're not going to have that extra injection of having the plant, so it's not. And the last time out, it was 1 player standing and they got a plant. It wasn't even close. So you're basically just going to go in with sheriffs or stingers with no shields or light shields. It's just not worth it. So it is just going to have to be the hard eco. Jing, a solo sheriff. And although, yeah, if they do lose this round, it will be a massive jinx. The way that G2 have been playing, I would be gobsmacked if they lose this round.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have been so disciplined. The teams that lose these rounds tend to be much more loosey-goosey, taking risks. Now you can see that on the side of PRX, they're willing to group up and do a little exec play. All the util thrown outside of A at Rubble. All the dashes used, the space taken, and there's no one here. Now they've got to go to the other side of the map, which is wide open. Typically, you'll have your Sentinel on this side when you go for those big gamble plays, at least getting you the information early. PRX will struggle with that, as they don't have one.
Already. They're just set up, watching for the door. Well, something. He's going to be met by Leaf. It's only a pistol player, so not the end of the world, but we'll garner him an extra orb at least. For the rest, yeah, they've dropped a couple of players. This really isn't bad! Where did that come from? Again, Forsaken. Giving them at least a life. There's time for this. Like, they're going to have to move quickly, and they're desperately low. Valen, a safe pair of hands, but not this time! All right, then. Maybe the caster curse does exist, because somehow they managed to win that round.
Unbelievable, 42 HP between them as well. MasterCard Thrifty pulled out of absolutely nowhere. Typically when we see those, there's at least a small bit of investment, but this really came out of the blue. Double digits for G2, sure, but that lead not extended on, and now the economy in a tough spot. Hey, of all the ways to start this half out, this may well end up being one of the best for PRX, surprisingly.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it as something you should attempt.
That's not a foolproof strategy, that's for sure.
It's funny as well, because the time they invested into round number 2 as a force buy, it failed miserably. And the time they didn't, they win with 2 players standing. It's the most PRX thing on the planet. And here goes Jing, continuing that train of thought. He's looking to battle and brawl, maybe get some confidence back. He's definitely had a bit of a rough map so far, but I don't think anybody's doubting that he can turn it around.
Yeah, that was his 3rd kill so far. Push up from something, good space taken. Turret not watching this angle, and it's left open for a moment. He has the timing, he has it perfectly, and he's not greedy, just taking the one and backing off, holding the position now. Trent and Icy, the last 2 standing, and it looks like PRX have really found themselves a way back into this series, back into this map, more importantly. 5th soon to come on the board with this firing squad waiting for them. And it's nice and easy, just leaving Trent just a Sheriff, and if he wins this one, PRX may just walk off the stage. 10-5, halfway there.
It's still a long, long road to go. And I think we know that getting back into the buy rounds is where the expectation changes. But I do think that just boost of confidence, like winning a round like that, gets everybody hyped up, gets the blood pumping. Also just proves, you know, we can take these rounds away from them. We can still get away with the stuff that we've been attempting and that has failed. I think Forsaken, a lot of the time, puts the world on his back when things are going bad. We saw that in Madrid as well, one of the craziest shotgun plays. No, the craziest shotgun play I've ever seen. Question now is, how far does that go?
Forsaken certainly not afraid. And you mentioned about the confidence, it's a big factor. Something certainly has it. Already going up aggressive on A. He's got backup, Prowler coming around, spotting a player close left, and he decides to back off. Yeah, this is a wise choice, knowing there could be a swing coming out from both directions. Can't see someone like Jing slow it down, even after a couple of bad rounds. Well, more than a couple. This Neon, he needs to be taking space, and he's done just that. Now they can start to rotate to the other side of the map. They'll be a little bit late, and Mind Freak seems to be just conceding the control.
Forsaken's knife not yet back online. He's put the fragment in, but it's only going to deny them the close corner. I think they're going to have to give this one up. Again, looking to play the retake. Plant. Not going to be denied just yet, as they wait patiently for everybody to arrive.
Taking a leaf out of G2's book. PRX on the way in, and up he goes, but Jing not landing the shot. The trade is good nonetheless. He causes the chaos. Trent, though, manages the recovery, and Jonah P's there to help out. Forsaken, now the last man standing, misses the jump up top, or maybe he intended to stay below. He almost caught Trent off guard, but the reactions of this guy, unbelievable. Another triple for Trent, and 11 rounds now on the board. The home stretch well and truly in full swing for G2.
God, it's not like the other side where G2 can wait for their retakes and just everything falls into place. I don't mind the idea of the sort of the jump up from Jing, even if it's just the surprise factor of it. But again, whether it's Jonah P, whether it's Trent, like just having these positions to just almost maneuver around. That seems to be what's just so impressive about every player on this squad, is their positioning. Again though, financially, PRX after the round, they won off pistols. Economically going to be good. That looked close, but no cigar.
Just a hair away, but it's enough. PRX don't claim the early advantage. G2 stacked up and ready to blitz out of this choke point. If they go for it, they could be in trouble. You've got Jing and Mind Freak ready to exact vengeance on them. Instead, the spike is shifting towards the B side. A bit of a split with some going C where they know that there's an op. You have to imagine there'll be deep utility used here to push them off the angle. Indeed, it's going to be the Prowler sent through, and it's caught him up close, got the op shot out. Now they've claimed the angle on the side of G2, but is the spike going towards B? I mean, Leaf's already taken the space. The door's open. Nightfall goes through. It's a confusing one for PRX to read, and if they had an IGL, he'd be panicking about now. Forsaken, under pressure, manages the one, but they need a little bit more, and it's something in Jing to deliver.
That leaves Valen alone. First goes his way. Now he can back out of there. Has the spike in his hand. They know exactly where he is, and something, well, a little bit too quick to allow him to get away. A sixth round onto the board for PRX. A big one to win as well. It's going to put the economy of their opponents right on the back foot once again. And that is, again, the thing. Just how disruptive this team can be. The rotations of Forsaken selling the idea that, okay, he's gone down. Jing can now swing off the same position. And then this man at the back of the site, they give him anything, and he's not going to miss those shots. Still, a long way back. But these sort of back and forth rounds, well, at least winning one and then losing it straight back, it's probably the best thing that could have happened for PRX, because it means that financially, again, G2 are in trouble.
Op reposition this time, playing on the A site to allow PRX to push up on C and take that space. Problem is they can't commit to so many players on Mound because they have to go back to clear B. That leaves Jing isolated when the fight comes down. G2 able to take that pick for free. And now well, the world's their oyster. They can take it where they want. Turret's still covering their back, but it's about to be out of range. Looks like commitment to the C site, and it certainly is. Straight through his Icy. Has Showstopper to use, but not anymore. Mindfreak keeping control over the back. He's lit down by the spams and has to be a bit more passive now. The rest of his team on the rotation. Two stack up on B and one further, but they don't know that the snake in the grass, yet again, the Viper down below, is on his way. And he's just wrapping for free. It could be an easy kill. He's gone into the smoke, though. A moment of solace for Mindfreak, but he doesn't expect there to be a player there. Forsaken's blindsided, and Mindfreak, low on the site, will struggle to stop this plant.
He's trying his best.
30 seconds
At least
left.
one comes up for Divine. Now the time is ticking. This brings things back to even. It's whether or not they want to try and use the Viper's pit, but it might make it tougher to plant. Another one for Mindfreak. Leaf tagged desperately low. It has to be Trent. It needs to be him to try and get something done. And what, 15 seconds left. Plenty of players to find, and in fact, it's a man that started it all. Mindfreak with 3.
Reason to have this man's jersey at home, Tom. Phenomenal player, and a big round from him. Dodging the spams at first, his timing on the Shrouded Step was unbelievable. Forsaken was unfortunate to get caught blindsided as he walked back through, but the spams here, absolutely gorgeous. Not just taking down Valen, not just taking down Jonah P. I believe it was there. You see it in the kill feed. Leaf as well. 3 players going down through the wall.
The play cam there is quite funny. It looks like he's celebrating before he got the kill.
He's gonna peek me, watch this.
11-7. PRX are on that road to recovery. Now, the ultimates weren't used by G2, so they still have them going into this round. Viper's Pit, Showstopper, but they built up on the other side as well. A matchup that, if PRX can win, they really are getting to the point where they're back in the game. Immediate teleport. I was about to say, if he sticks that, that's a bold attempt. Instead, though, it was just used to give them the information. Nightfall used fairly early, but Jonah P's lurk caught by something.
Yeah, who could have guessed Jonah P would be lurking in this game? Seems something certainly hit the nail on the head. Now the steps are heard, leaving the B site, although, okay, the knife gets thrown through, so Forsaken knows there's someone outside B. He'll stick in position. C site, 3 players just outside it. They had success, 3 kills in the last round off just spamming the wall and denying the plant. Looks like they're not going for that this time. Instead, it's Jing running around the nade for Forsaken, and Jing steps right into it. He is farming them up. And on 9 HP, Brave to use this ult through a smoke.
Okay.
And Leaf
1v1.
now has a real chance. 1v1 against the op. This round was looking done. It looked like it was already in the bag, and instead, there is going to be a challenge. The op not going to be the best for spamming through that wall. Something has to hope that he'll find an angle. Leaf knows once this ult goes off, he has time to get the plant in. He's going for it. Something's wild, spams, perhaps. No, he's instead going to close the distance, keep the element of surprise up his sleeve, and try to isolate this man. Caught scoping in. It's a big danger, but he's picked the right angle. It's not over yet for PRX. They pushed up to 8.
It's just a back and forth. It feels like they've pulled G2 into the mania that is PRX, with battles and brawls, a 3v1 that Leaf almost manages to turn, but again, a safe pair of hands is something with that operator. Jing, though, they're just the fact he's playing. Again, we've seen this earlier in the tournament, just playing through the fragments. Oh. And that is filthy. Just couldn't quite get it done on the last. G2, after losing 5 of the last 6 rounds, are going to take themselves a pause. I think a necessary one as well, because we've said in the
maybe you're not likely to see that showstopper pulled into effect unless there's a big mistake from PRX.
Yeah, same for his Viper's Pit as well. It's like you've got a stinger in case that eventuality comes about, but a lot more is needed. It's so aggressive. Already, immediately taking control towards that C site. It's left something alone. This could actually be the bigger problem for them. He's going to manage to dodge, but they're trying to pressure with a low buy, looking to get as close as they can. He's repositioned, but the shots are missed. He's now somewhat stuck in the mud, and they're waiting for that rotation to come back in. Shots connecting. Icy found another one, and he goes for even more. And not even needing that showstopper when he's got the pistol in hand.
Trent's behind as well. He was biding his time on B, and there's no way they expect him to be here at this stage. He's recovered a rifle, and it's the freest kill of his life with Jing down and out. What a way to push up to 12 from G2, a round that seemed like they wouldn't have a chance in. They had nothing but pistols for the most part, and here they are. Just Devi, 1 against 4, a Viper's Pit to fight through. Icy, who's popping off everyone on rifles, bar Jonah P, who doesn't give a damn inside his pit, and a showstopper just for good measure. This is a disastrous outcome. And sure, he takes down 1, but that matters little to G2 right now. A 3K for Icy, a MasterCard Thrifty, and with that, 4 chances to take the series with a G2-0.
It's going to be the thorn in their side, a slip up, and one that it's unfortunate. Like, you put your operator on one side, and I thought that was going to be the main problem of the round, but it's mainly just the fact that Icy's able to wrap back in, and then I think he spots, that's it, it's just the shrouded step. He sees just a tiny bit of information and is completely ready for anything Mindfreak is going to do. 12-8. Operator now gone as well. Can't be back on the board for PRX in this round. It's been a huge part of what they have. Jing, he's gone as well.
And the showstopper's active, but Mindfreak's up top. No one was close enough to trade him out. Big swing from Devi as well. They'll double up on it. PRX now with the advantage. They punish the early rubble control. And the response seems to be to take it the other direction. The steps are heard as Valen moves up towards B main. They know that he's on his way here, and something is more than ready to execute him. But Valen starts to run back. Timing for something isn't great because the turret's still there. It's going to catch him and give the information. They know that push has come through, but it does get the rotation to the C site.
But that's the thing. If he doesn't peek that, it will have actually been a perfect stack up for them on the C site. Now G2 can call into question, okay, if he's pushed up, they know it's not B. They know the fake that we sold isn't going to be there. Forsaken under pressure, but he can't afford to give the game away here. And well, but now already they've lost 1. This is an awkward fight to take. He's just about going to make it around the corner.
Trent is so smart. He throws the reveal and then just swings it, knowing that they're probably going to go for the peak. Nightfall goes through in the back of that. Forsaken catches Valen, though. A huge kill. But with the Nightfall hitting, Trent takes his moment to go for the flank, moving around through heaven, sees that it's clear. Now you know that the defender spawn is not where they're coming from. It refocuses Leaf. He's now looking towards the water, where he's already heard Mindfreak. TP across, waiting for the steps, and he's turned at the wrong moment. A free kill. Trent now has to do it all. He's pulled out multi-kills so many times in the past, and the first is his, but he's got to swing in and deny that defuse. Not this time. 12-9. 3 more chances for G2.
Yeah, then, well, again, it's going to be a break back immediately after we see that pistol round victory. You got yourself what was a nice attempt to turn back around. After the early battles, it was looking rough, especially with the information that something was able to get with such a deep position. But even still, once Leaf went down, the position for the retake or the clutch for Trent just wasn't a good one. From the depths of hell again, PRX looked to rise. Economically, though, again, they're still almost fighting off the back of that pistol, and it's given them enough to purchase once more. And no surprise, we're seeing a push-up on A.
They've had success taking it. Mind Freak alongside Jing. Forsaken early knife for info on C. And the aggression from something successful, at least in the last round for the information. First fight doesn't go their way. Mound control given over to the side of G2. Orb to be taken. 2 away now from a lockdown and the push up on A. The slide in from Jing is gorgeous. Jonah P didn't stand a chance.
It's got to be infuriating. The amount of times he's been picked off by an operator pushing him. And now Jing sliding into position. The B site looks to be the point of contention. Smokes out, paranoia, utility, but there seems to be a point where they might look to just push through this. I didn't expect that. Now Icy has managed to put down 2. It's not the play you expect to see with the Odin. And now Mind Freak's gone as well. The perfect combo. It's left onto the man who started this comeback. Forsaken, 1v4.
Devastating round. Let's see if he can do it. And no, immediately shut down. G2, 13-8.